Hello, this is Slate with Combo of Rocks, bringing you another video deck tech of a deck that we built and have for sale. If you're not familiar with us, we make and sell custom budget EDH decks. These decks are light on the budget, so they may not be optimal or competitive, but they're definitely fun and centered around a central theme that you can build on. Today we have Jolrael, voice of Zhalfir, 2 blue-green for a 3/3 legendary human druid. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to one target land becomes an XX green and blue bird with flying and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It's still a land. Whenever land enters, or land creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So this is all about animating lands, turning them into creatures, and then beating your opponents with them. Let's get into the deck. We have Nissa, Steward of Elements, X green blue for an X loyalty Nissa, +2, scry 2, 0. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land or a creature card with mana value less or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you can put it onto the battlefield. -6, untap up to 2 target lands you control. They become 5/5 elemental creatures with flying and haste, and they're still lands. We have Nissa, who shakes the world. 3 green for a 5 loyalty Nissa. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green. +1, put 3 1/1 counters on one target non-creature land. Untap it, it becomes a 0/0 elemental of vigilance and haste. That's still a land. -8, you get an emblem with lands you control have indestructible, and search your library for any number of forests. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Nissa Vital Force, 5 green for a 5 loyalty Nissa. +1, untap a land. Until end of turn, it becomes a 5/5 elemental with haste. It's still a land. -3, return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. -6, you get an emblem with whenever a land enters under your control, you may draw a card. Nissa World Waker, 3 green for a 3 loyalty Nissa. +1, target land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental with trample. It's still a land. +1, untap up to 4 target forests. -7, search your library for any number of basic lands. Put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Those lands become 4/4 elementals with trample, and they're still lands. Vivian Reed, 3 green for a 5 loyalty legendary Vivian. +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You reveal a creature or land. Put it into your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library in random order. -3, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. -8, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2, have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. Primal Adversary, 2 green for a 4/3 trample wolf. When it enters, you can pay 1 green any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many 1 counters on Primal Adversary, and up to that many target lands become 3/3 wolf creatures with haste that are still lands. Blossoming Tortoise, 2 green for a 3/3 turtle. When it enters or attacks, mill 3 cards and then return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield taps. Activated abilities and lands you control cost 1 less to activate, and land creatures get +1/+1. Leyline of Abundance, 2 green enchantment. If it's in your opening hand, you begin with it on the battlefield. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add additional green. This does include the lands that you've turned into creatures. 6 green, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Waker of the Wilds, 2 green for a 3/3 Merfolk Shaman. X green, put X 1/1 counters on target land. It becomes a 0/0 elemental with haste. It's still a land. Sylvan Advocate, 1 green for 2/3 Elf Druid Ally with Vigilance. If you control 6 or more lands, it and land creatures you control get +2/+2. Kamal's Will, 3 green instant, choose 1. If you got your commander out, you can choose both. Until end of turn, any number of target lands become 1/1 elementals with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. Choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to that creature. Sylvan Awakening, 2 green. Until end of turn, all lands you control become 2/2 elementals with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. Life and Limb, 3 green. All forests and saplings are 1/1 green sapling creatures and forest lands in addition to their other types. Earth Surge, 3 green. Enchantment, each land gets +2/+2 as long as it's a creature. Rude Awakening, 4 green. Sorcery with Entwine, 2 green, choosing both modes. Untap all lands you control. Until end of turn, they become 2/2 creatures that are still lands. Llanowar Loam Speaker, 1 green for a 1/3 Elf Druid. Taps for mana of any color. You can also tap it to animate a land. It becomes a 3/3 elemental with haste. It's still a land. Activate only as a sorcery. Nylea's Intervention, X green, choose 1. Search your library for X land cards. Reveal them, put them into your hand, or deals twice X damage to each creature with flying. Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi, 3 green, instant, put 9 1/1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a legendary 0/0 elemental with haste. Named Vitu-Ghazi, it's still a land. On the Trail, 1 green enchantment. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield taps. Lumbering World Wagon, 2 green for Star 4 vehicle. Its power is equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever this vehicle enters or attacks, search for your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle with crew 4. Disallow, 1 green, instant, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Woodcaller Automaton, 10 mana for an 8/8. You can prototype it for 2 green. It does enter as a 3/3. When it enters, if you cast it, untap target land you control. It becomes a tree folk with haste and base power and toughness equal to this card's base power and toughness. It's still a land. We do have a Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. Tatiova, Steward of the Tides, green, blue for a 3/3 legendary Merfolk Druid. Land creatures you control have flying. Whenever land enters under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land becomes a 3/3 elemental with haste. It's still a land. Tatiova, Benthic Druid, 3 blue-green for a 3/3 Merfolk Druid, legendary. Whenever a land enters, you draw a card and you gain a life. Growth Spiral, blue-green, instant, draw a card, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Coastal Discovery, 3 and a blue, draw 2 cards. You can awaken it for 5 and a blue, making one of your lands a 4/4. Hollowmore Tidecaller, 2 and a blue for 2/3 Human Wizard Ally. When it enters, return a card with Awaken from your graveyard to your hand, and land creatures you control have flying. Rush of Ice, 1 blue, tap a creature, doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. You can also awaken 3 for 4 and a blue. Clutch of Currents, 1 blue, return a creature to its owner's hand. You can also again awaken it for 4 and a blue, it becomes a 3/3 land. Resculpt, 1 and a blue, instant, exile an artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Reality Shift, 1 and a blue, exile a creature. Its controller manifests the top card of their library. Counterspell, for it's 2 blue, you counter any spell. Refute, 1 blue, counters any spell, then you draw a card and discard a card. Negate, 1 and a blue, counters a non-creature spell. Disdainful Stroke, 1 and a blue, counters a spell with mana value 4 or greater. Slip Through Space, 1 blue, sorcery. Target creature can't be blocked this turn, draw a card. Good for getting your land creatures in the red zone. Enter the Enigma, same thing, except for it is blue, not colorless. Joint Exploration, 1 and a blue with kicker for a green. Instant, scry 2, draw a card. If it was kicked, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Nissa's Triumph, green, search your library for 2 basic forests. If you control a Nissa, search for 3 lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Druid class, 1 and a green. First level here, whenever a land enters, you gain a life. You can level it up to level 2 for 2 and a green. Play an additional land of each of your turns. Level 3 for 4 and a green. When it becomes level 3, target land becomes a creature with haste. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, and it's still a land. Embodiment of Insight, 4 and a green for a 4/4 elemental vigilance. Land creatures you control have vigilance. And landfall, whenever a land enters, you can have a land become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land. Awakener Druid, 2 and a green for a 1/1 human druid. When it enters, target forest becomes a 4/5 green tree folk. As long as this remains on the battlefield, it's still a land. Hunting Wilds, 3 and a green, with kicker 3 and a green. Search for 2 forests, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. If the kicker cost was paid, untap all forests. This way they become 3/3 green creatures with haste and are still lands. Emergent Sequence, 1 and a green, sorcery. Search your library for a basic, put on the battlefield, tapped. That land becomes a 0/0 green, a fractal creature that's still a land. Put a 1/1 counter on it for each land you had enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Rampant Growth, 1 and a green, search for a basic, put on the battlefield, tapped. Explorer, 1 and a green, play an additional land, draw a card. Scale the Heights, 2 and a green, put a 1/1 counter on a creature, gain 2 life, play an additional land, draw a card. Invasion of Zendikar, 3 and a green for a battle siege. It does have 3 battle counters. When it enters, search for 2 basics, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. And then when you flip it, it is a 4/4 elemental vigilance haste that's actually a land creature. That taps for a mana of any color. We do have Vastwood Surge, 3 and a green with kicker 4. Search for 2 basics, put them on the battlefield tapped. If it was kicked, put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Expand the Sphere, 3 and a green. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put 2 land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped. If you put fewer than 2 lands, proliferate equal to the times of the difference. Ranger's Path, 3 and a green. Search for 2 forests, puts them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Map the Frontier, 3 and a green. Search for 2 basic and or deserts, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Rampaging Growth, 3 and a green. Search for a basic land, put on the battlefield. Until end of turn, that land becomes a 4/3 insect with reach and haste. It's still a land. Elemental Uprising, 1 and a green. Instant, target land becomes a 4/4 elemental with haste. It must be blocked if able. It's still a land. Bower Passage, 1 and a green. Enchantment, creatures with flying can't block creatures you control. So if you've got creatures with flying, this is a good way for you not to have them be able to be blocked. Broken Bond, 1 and a green. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Return to the Earth, 3 and a green. Instant, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Shower of Arrows, 2 and a green. Instant, same ability, but it does scry 1. And then Broken Wing, still the same ability again. Drowner of Truth, 5 blue-green hybrid for a 7/6 Eldrazi with Devoid. If colorless was spelled to cast it, create 2 colorless 0/1 Eldrazi creatures that sack for a colorless. Can also be a tapped blue-green land. Into some lands. We do have Mobilized District. Taps for colorless. 4 colorless makes it a 3/3 creature with vigilance. It's still a land. Costs 1 less to activate for each planeswalker or legendary creature you control. Dread Statuary, taps for colorless. 4 colorless makes it a 4/2 golem artifact creature until end of turn. That's still a land. Crawling Barrens, taps for colorless. 4 colorless, put 2 1/1 counters on it, and then you can have it become a 0/0 elemental creature. It's still a land. Fine Glimmer Snarl. Waterlogged Grove. Yavimaya Coast. Flooded Grove. Overflowing Basin. Temple of Mystery. Restless Vinestalk. This one actually becomes a 5/5 plant. That when it attacks another creature, it becomes a 3/3. Lumbering Falls becomes a 3/3 elemental with hexproof. Simic Growth Chamber. Lush Oasis. Quandrix Campus. Tangled Islet. Lakeside Shack. Simic Guildgate. Treetop Village becomes a 3/3 green ape with trample. And then we have some basic islands and forests here. That's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, but we'll see you next time.